Welcome back again to the most thrilling, wonderful experience you're ever going to have in YouTube or Spotify or Apple or all that good stuff. The Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast. This is episode 60. We're climbing that mountain. We're getting closer and closer to 100. Mm-hmm. And we have a very special guest with us today. You have never seen her before anywhere else. I don't think. I might have just lied. But anyway, I'm pretty sure she's never been on any show like this. This is not Mary McCain. This is Mary McQuain. I've been saying it wrong for a long time.
So have a lot of other people.
Yes, I think that's my fault.
No.
It's good to have you with us, Mary.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're so welcome. And Mary came on and sponsored the Pickin the Plateau, which, by the way, when this video drops, is just 15 days. 15 days. That's unbelievable to me that we're already.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. We're almost there. It's literally, this is Monday, so it's 18 days, but it says 15 days right here. So when you're watching this, it's 15 days, 2 weeks. If you're coming, it's time to buy your tickets. It is time to get what you're getting and get up here because it's time. But Mary came on and sponsored it. And we were just so excited and thrilled and thankful, Mary, that you would do that. And that's very kind of you. And that I was telling Josh and telling my wife and that, the sponsor money, we've never talked about, hey, we just made money. It's like, okay, how can we make the meetup better now? Because that's a little bit more money. Now we can make the meetup even a little bit more, awesome.
Yeah.
So that's great. And we're very thankful to have you on board as a sponsor.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You're certainly welcome. Before I forget, because I'm very good at forgetting, let's hit our sponsor video package right quick.
Let's do it.
The Highway 127 Pickin the Plateau is brought to you by the Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast, co-hosted by the Reseller Locker Room. Our sponsors are My Reseller Jeannie, Faith and Paul, Grams and Pops Vintage, Corey and Teresa, Lucky 7 Auction, Ashley, Nathaniel, and Sweet Baby Gracie, and Mary McCain. We appreciate each one of you so very much. And there is still time if you want to sponsor, but there is no more guest week appearances. They're all full. So, And, it's just 2 weeks away, so we couldn't give you 6 to 8 weeks of promotion like we've been doing everybody else. But we would still accept a sponsor, and we'd shout you out as much as we possibly could if you're interested in that. We're not begging for it, but definitely if you're interested, we'd be happy to have you.
And we'd still be glad to have you on the show, too. Just after the event.
It would be, it'd be after because we're definitely 2 weeks away.
Yep.
And next week, Nathaniel and Ashley, I'm not lying, am I? That is next week.
Yes.
Next week, Nathaniel and Ashley will be on the show with us from Lucky 7 Auction. So, and then that leaves us 1 week until the meetup. And Josh, you and Casey will be here. You will be right here in this house, hanging out with us during that time. Yep. So, that's kind of it. And then there's meetup.
We're really excited about that, by the way. But and we look, people didn't know we had a place booked way out in advance, and it's been I guess was it over the weekend, right? I think it was maybe Sunday night. I happened to open up my email because I've been tracking our shirt, order with my guy here in town. And so I was opening up my email to see if he had sent me any information about it. And I see I've got an email from Airbnb. And so I open it up, and it's there to inform me that the reservation has been canceled because there was damage to the cabin that we had rented. A tree had fallen on the roof. And so it's going to be in repairs. And so I was like, wow, because me and Caleb had actually talked, was it the week before? Because we were looking at maybe trying to change to a place that was a little closer or that had a bigger kitchen so that we'd have more space to cook, or maybe we'd be closer together when we have to do that part, and just so we didn't have to drive so much. and there really wasn't much left that wasn't really expensive, or it was like a little camper, like even smaller than what we had. And so, I mean, we were trying to avoid, of course, spending, $1,200 to stay for a few days. So anyway, Caleb and Tanya graciously invited us to stay with them in spite of the fact that they're already upside down and got a full house. And we really appreciate it, and appreciate y'all making that work for us.
We got an ironing board, man. We can find a place.
Hey, as long as I'm not out in the humidity, I'm good. I'll sleep on the floor. I don't care.
Well, it's funny you say that. The kids have all hit me up. They're like, "Hey, we can go camp that week," and I'm like, "We'll see, because that's going to be one of the hottest weeks of the year." And it's like, I don't know if you really want to camp, like right now. That's pretty hot. It's like 95 degrees, or it was. I don't know what it is. It's been raining a little bit. I think it's already quit. But it was 95 earlier and kind of humid, and that's bad. But yeah, we're excited. We can't wait to have you guys. We're excited. And of course, Mary McQuain. She is going to be at the Pickin the Plateau meetup event also. Yes. So we're excited about that. Mary, you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said you're bringing your son with you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep, we're going to drive out there the Thursday before, and then we'll stay till Sunday.
That's awesome.
And I booked my hotel like as soon as I bought the ticket. I think you guys were live when I bought the ticket.
Yeah.
As soon as you said it was, available to buy. So yeah, I booked my room, and luckily a tree has not fallen on my hotel.
It's just crazy that stuff happens. It does happen, but what are the chances that it would be Josh's cabin, like so close to the event that it can't get repaired? I mean, that the chances are astronomical.
When I opened that up and I read it to myself first. I'm sitting on the couch beside my wife. We had the TV on. We were just relaxing after church, and I'm sitting there just scrolling and going through emails and stuff. And I thought, what? And so I said, Casey, listen to this. And I read it, and she goes, no. I said, yeah, literally. Like, I read it again. I said, I said, I've already been to Airbnb. It's legitimate. We're really having to look for a place to stay. I said, and their constellation, this was their constellation. We're sorry for the short notice on this cancellation. It was out of the owner's control or whatever. But to help you in your search for another property, we've included a $25 gift receipt or gift certificate from Airbnb to help you cover any unexpected expenses.
Yeah,
$25.
Which will not get you a hotel room.
No.
I guess that's better than nothing, but that's not going to cover 20 minutes.
I mean, we got her.
Right.
Yeah, we got a refund, but I mean, short term, like we could have got a hotel. We were looking for a place we could cook. That was part of it too, because we were, for the dinner. And so anyway, but it was just funny. Like you said, very ironic.
And me and Tanya was talking about, we need to get out. Me and her need to get out to the venue this week soon, not like the day before, and just look it over again, make sure kind of the setup. I know they had a stove. They got a good sized kitchen there, but they just had the one stove. They got plenty of shelving. Seems like they had a couple tables set up, but just to kind of game plan and, get it mentally ready, because we booked, I can't even remember. I want to say it was March when we booked that thing. So April, May, June, July, August, 5 months ahead. So it's kind of hard. It's been 4 months to remember everything about the venue. I know that it's a great big room, and I know it has air conditioning. That was the most important parts. And it has nice facilities, bathroom, kitchen, but I can't remember everything about the kitchen. I do know this, and I forgot to mention this the other day. So we was talking about how you can go shoot if you do that and want to do that and all that stuff. You can also rent golf carts and drive around the range, I guess, if you just wanted to drive around and check it out. They have some golf carts they rent too. So I think they're golf carts. There's some kind of cart. I'm not sure. I believe they're golf carts. But anyway, yeah, it's a pretty place out there. And it's off the beaten path, but not far. Like once you get off of I-40, you make a left turn. You literally go a mile down the road and turn right. And you go back on that road for probably a mile and a half and make a turn, and you're at the venue, at the shooting range. So it's back in the woods, obviously, like it should be for a shooting range, but it's really not too far away from the major highway. So it's easy to find, is what I'm trying to say. It's easy to find. I'm acting like you, Josh. I'm talking a whole lot to say a little, I guess, is what I'm doing.
Yes, that's okay for me to say that about myself.
That was a jab.
Yeah, I noticed that was low. I feel about that.
I didn't
well,
I mean, till last week when you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Last slide.
Well, see, if Josh is going to put something like "Watch out for Caleb's tricks,"
and why did I put that on there, Caleb?
I don't know.
Why did I put that on there?
Why did you? Because you're evil. That's why you're evil.
Oh, wow. Oh man.
No, I'm kidding.
Just watch out for that little white box. Caleb has a tendency to want to accidentally slip things in on you when you're not watching.
You know,
he lets this whole administrative control thing go to his head sometimes.
I'm hurt.
Some people I've worked for in the past, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm devastated. I don't know what to say.
That's okay. It's kind of like okay. A dad joke.
No biggie. I mean, you know, it's what it is. It is what it is. You killer of dreams, you. Oh,
that's
yes,
why you couldn't talk, because you're busy trying to type.
I was busy typing. Killer of dreams.
Oh man.
Yes, I'm using my administrative control, and I'm being a little bit ornery. If that's how we can say it. A little bit ornery.
Just
yeah, but so we'll get away from you picking on me here for a minute.
Okay.
And move on to something else. So yeah, 15 days. That's not long. And me and Tanya's been buying a few things that we got her, actually, shout out her brother. He went to a local store here and he done the digital coupons and the clipping coupon thing, and you know, all waited on the sale and used everything he could. And he got the canned drinks for like, I think he said like $0.25 a can. I mean, it was really pretty good deal.
That's a good
compared
deal these
to
days.
what it normally is now. It's like half of the normal price.
Yeah.
So he helped us out there, and I think we got enough. We might get a few more things. I'm not sure, but I look over here because it's sitting over in the dining room area right now in front of my face. Oh, and I forgot. Hey, Jens, talk for a minute. I'm going to show you what showed up. Y'all talk for just a second.
I bet I know what showed up. Well, hey, I can share this while he's grabbing whatever it is he's wanting to show us. I did talk to the guy that's working on our t-shirts, and as long as everything goes according to plans, I think he's working on them right now, and we should have them with us at the meetup and ready for purchase. And we're not going to try to make money off of them either. Whatever, we kind of already talked about it. We don't know the price because we don't know exactly yet what it's going to be per shirt. But we kind of just thought, like, if he charges us 12, we might just sell them for 15 or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So we're not trying to make a lot of money. Just make sure we cover the cost and maybe have just a little bit to start up a reorder without having so much overhead, because we'll be out, I mean, buying 50 shirts, we're probably gonna be out $500, something like that to get started. So, but anyway, but hope they'll be pretty cool. We feel pretty good about them. Hopefully they turn out as good as we think they're going to look.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you put my face on anything, is my face on it? I can't remember. If my face is on it. Oh, unfortunately. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
We'll bring some duct tape so people, if they're offended by it, they can just tape it.
I wouldn't actually blame anybody for putting a piece of tape over that. Really, that'd be fine. So this is what showed up. This is going in the swag bags that you will get. This will be just part of it at the event. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Macho Man. Oh, that's one of them. Here's another one.
Yep. Good stuff.
This is great audio content for all you folks listening.
Well,
It's
if you keep doing Macho
Man
Man voice,
stickers.
you're good.
Yeah, Macho Man stickers. There is 80 of these. They come in a 40 count. So there's 40 unique stickers, and they're all pretty cool. Honestly, I have to say, they are some pretty cool stickers in here. I might have to steal out a few of these to keep for myself, but like they're pretty sweet, honestly.
Yeah.
And they're not
Pretty cool.
licensed. This guy must just print these. I don't know how he gets away with that. He must just make them there on his own. But
well, if it's not his exact image, he probably doesn't have to license it, honestly.
well, you say that, but look at that one.
Well, yeah, he's got some photos too. I know. Now that part I don't know about.
How you get away with that, Well, there you go with that one.
It's
That's
kind
a
of like paying
photo.
taxes, Caleb. You always get away with it until the government catches up to you.
Yes, that is true. I don't. I pay my taxes, but
I'm saying, in general, things like that.
Yep.
People wouldn't suddenly get, docked by the IRS for years and years of back taxes if they weren't getting out of it.
Right. That one's cool. I like. Oh yeah. There's just these are great, and me and Josh
You covered our wrestling content right there.
Yeah, really. These are a couple of my favorites. I love the Madness era during the NWO when he changed all black and white. I like that era too. And then this one's really cool. Snap into a Slim Jim, boys.
Oh, now having Slim Jim on it certainly is.
Yeah, that's like totally ripping somebody off. Like you about to get,
we wouldn't get away with that.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But they're really cool. There's going to be sticker in every bag is the goal. And I bought 2 bags of these. They actually send them in this pretty little Mylar. I guess that's Mylar bag. It's like $7 or $8 for 40 stickers. Not bad at all. And you can buy this guy prints. He had Hogan. He had the Ultimate Warrior. He had Savage. He had some people I didn't really know. He had more than wrestling, different stuff. And I got an email a few days ago that my stickers for the Old Pass had shipped. And I thought they was going to be here today, but they didn't make it today. They're supposed to be here tomorrow. So hopefully they look halfway decent. I'm kind of nervous because it looks exactly like the logo down here, except it has just a little bit of a black border. I think it's black. Did I make it black or white? I think I made it black. My memory don't last more than a couple minutes, but I think I made it black. But yeah, they'll be here. And as we said in the past, if you have something you want to send us to throw in there, like a business card or a sticker, we'd be happy to throw that in there. And if you're coming to the meetup, most definitely make sure you bring, if you have stickers, if you have cards, if you have stuff like that, don't bring like, cups and mugs and hats. We can't throw that in the bag, but we can throw promotional materials like that in the bags. And that's kind of the purpose of doing that. And, of course, Nathaniel, we talked about the thermometers that he sent. He's a funny guy. He thought that would be funny, I guess.
And of course, the auction, the charity auction as well. Anyone that still plans on sending anything, if you would like to, definitely be getting that in the mail soon, because we're kind of, come next week, it's going to really kind of be betting on the USPS doing their job very well. Which most of the time, honestly, they do. I'm not criticizing them because, they get, for all the flack they take from us sometimes, they get way more things there really quickly than they, are late with. Percentage-wise, but again, you're going to be kind of trusting that there'll be no problem. So get that done, or if you're coming, bring it with you. And if you can't stay for the event and you want to bring something and drop it by, just contact us on Instagram, and we can meet up with you sometime during the week of the 127 if you want to drop something with one of us. So
yeah, and it's funny that we were talking about this because 7 minutes ago I got my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I looked at it because it lit up. I got a message from Faith and Paul at My Reseller Genie. She said she just shipped 100 postcards, 100 brochures, and going to UPS now to ship 100 of the My Reseller Genie bags. These are the IKEA bags that have their. Actually, she sent me one or two or three. I can't remember how many. They send them out to their sponsor, their affiliates, not their sponsors, affiliates. But yeah, she's sending their swag, their stuff that will be put. They're sending the bags. They're actually going to give the bags for their swag, and then the cards and the brochures are for their table. But and I meant to mention, Grin and Grandma messaged me. That's Cher. She has a YouTube channel. Go check her out. She's really sweet. She messaged me that she had some stuff she was going to bring either for giveaways or we could auction it off or whatever. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you probably messaged this to me after last week. Mary's got some stuff too. Some bubble mailers, right? That you are bringing with you.
Yeah. There are some small bubble mailers and a ton of padded mailers.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we can either throw them in bags or set them out. Or the good thing about that, there's going to be plenty of people there that can use them. So it's not like they won't get took and get used. That's the great thing about that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, some are going to be probably too big for a swag bag. I mean, some are. Well, I think you can see, but I mean, yeah, they're some of them are pretty big.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I knew there would be people there who could use them.
No doubt. There'll be a couple of people. I want to show this before we get too much farther. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, one of those places, come over to YouTube and check out Mary's store on Mercari. I was impressed. I'm showing it now on the screen. Gold Crusher Girl is her Mercari name. Nice. And she's sold almost 1,200 items, but if you look down through here, she's got 1,133 items in her Mercari store. That's a pretty sizable Mercari store. And she's got nice stuff. So Mary, where do you yard sell for a lot of this stuff, or where do you get it?
I mostly do RA now. I used to more the thrifting and more the garage sales, but I mainly do RA now. So going to the 127, I'm a little out of practice for that. I'll have to put my picker hat back on.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But I still do a little of that, but it's a lot of RA now.
Well, make sure you guys go over to Mercari. If you're on Mercari, go over. And I'm assuming if you type in Gold Crusher Girl or at Gold Crusher Girl, it'll pull up your store. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think there's really a good way to do that on Mercari. I mean, maybe if somebody saw just one of the listings, if they just type that in, then it would.
Will it give you a link?
I might be able to.
Yeah, it's got a share button. We'll try to make sure we add the link to the video description.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put it down in the. Whoa, I messed up our screen really bad. We'll put it down in the description of the video. You guys can hit that. It should take you straight to her store. And if you're on there, she's got 199. Oh, that's following. Okay, 361 followers. So only 39 of you need to go over and follow her to get her to 400. That's our goal. Let's get her to 400. I actually tried to log in a few minutes ago, and I don't remember my Mercari stuff. So I got to figure it out. Once I figure it out, Mary, I'm going to follow your store. But I couldn't figure it out. So give me just a little while.
On Mercari, you're only allowed to follow 200 people. So, it's not like Poshmark where you can follow, 100,000 people or whatever it is. You're only followed up to 200 people over on Mercari.
So you said that you do. You said that you do retail arbitrage. Do you? Is there certain places that you focus on? I know a lot of people go to like TJ Maxx, Ross, Kohl's, places like that. I guess we can name some of the others, but you get the point. Go to those types of Marshalls, I think, is one. There's just all these different places where they buy surplus in bulk. I think probably on the higher end, I like to think of those stores as kind of like the pallet style stores, but they don't display it in the pallets, and they don't buy just anything. I mean, they specialize in certain areas. They do health and beauty and clothing and home goods and stuff like that. But it's a lot of overruns and overstocks and dead stock type items that they get in. Especially if you look at dates, you'll notice that on items. It's stuff that's the old model of a certain thing from KitchenAid if it's a household good. But is that what you do, or do you go? Is it more Walmart, like clearance section? What's your focus?
Yeah, it's more like what you were saying. Like TJ Maxx, Burlington, Ross. Yeah, and that even Hallmark, someplace like that. I've done online arbitrage from a Hallmark in California, even.
Yeah.
I kind of look for things that I like, and then it's more fun for me to do that. And I work out of the guest room, and so my packing stuff. Now that I have a garage, my packing materials in the garage, but I work out of a guest room, so I can't have a bunch of huge things. So I a lot on a lot of linens and stuff like that. I mean, over time I've sold everything, but it seems like that's really like are the baby blankets, that's stuff like that.
I got you. Yeah, well, I was gonna say I do a little RA. I think everyone that's a reseller probably, even if they have a focus, they still dabble in the other areas from time to time. I mean, if you're in Walmart and you walk by the clearance aisle and you're a reseller and you don't at least walk down it to make sure there's not something you should pick up, you're probably doing yourself a disservice, I mean, sometimes mine has like rolls of bubble wrap for $3 that they're not going to carry anymore. I mean, I've had stuff like that, or like the duct tape brand bubble mailers, like the 6-packs for like $1, when they mark them out. So you never know what you're going to run up on. So, and then of course items to resell as well. But that said, what kind of margins? You said you mostly do RA. What kind of, because I know the margins for, resale of used goods, like from, flea market, yard sale, that type of thing, thrift store, can be pretty wide. I mean, I'm sure it's less, but what do you normally work with on that?
Yeah, I mean, I aim for about a 50%, but sometimes, sometimes with the baby blankets, I can get more than that. Gouging people, I just get them at a really good price.
Gotcha.
But with the sheet set, sometimes it might only be about 30%. So yeah, it's not like you guys where I'm, 100xing my money and 50 cents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I've had, back when I was doing garage sales more, I mean, I found a little Boyd's Bear, one of the mini message ones, little plush. I mean, I bought that for 50 cents and sold it for $90.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was in the office once a week before we closed down our offices.
Gotcha.
And I'm like looking for somebody to tell. I'm like,
I understand.
Yeah, I think we all have that adrenaline when we sell something. I mean, okay, while we've been on the air, I've been on a terrible streak for 4 or 5 days. And I think some of that, my eBay has not been working. Like every time I would go to my app, it's not working. Every time I'd go to the website, something would be wrong. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I sold like $180 all weekend. So while we've been on today recording, I just sold, I have to credit this to Tanya, 2 of the Oneida Rushmore spoon sets for $155.18. So thank you, Tanya.
Hey.
Yeah. And that gives that, I love that. Like, we've probably got less than, I honestly can't say, maybe 10 cents per spoon. So maybe 40 cents in that sale, maybe. And then turn it into 155. By the time you ship it and everything, literally going to make $135 on that.
That's
so
awesome.
It's crazy. It is. And that's what I love about reselling. Even what you're doing, you're enjoying doing it and you're making money. Like that's the key. I feel like that is what makes it worth it all. And I think we lost Mary for a minute. Well, that's okay. We got a professional talker in the house. Go ahead.
Well, we probably need to knock out a segment anyway. So what do you want to?
Yeah, that's
What
true.
you
I
want to
mean,
get?
but you're
We're
a
30 minutes
professional
in.
talker.
Oh,
You're
I
no
guess.
longer a killer of dreams.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even paying you no attention. Troublemaker. That's what you are, is a troublemaker.
Just change my name. Can you do that?
I think you need to focus on what you're doing. I think you need to
I've
focus.
been focused. I've been totally focused on driving you crazy this episode. Is
the wrong thing. The wrong
Yes,
thing.
definitely the wrong thing. Okay, you talk about focus. So when we was on Grams and Pops a week ago, Anya smoked me about listing, right? She spread the truth that I'm just a lazy bum and I haven't been listing in like 100
you've
days.
been telling people that though for weeks.
I
and
have
weeks
been.
weeks.
Yeah, it's not like
it's
I've been
3 months. You've been talking about how you don't ever list. You just run big sales and give everything away.
Yes,
give them free shipping on top of it.
Yes, exactly. And still managed to make a little bit of money at it. I don't know how.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
That's good to you. That's for a fact.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I cannot deny that. So last Monday, the day after, no, I might be lying here. It was Tuesday. Because Monday, we record. Mondays are always crazy. You got to pack and we record, and it's just too busy for me to get a really big lot of stuff done. So Tuesday, I actually did start listing. I listed my 20 on Tuesday. Wednesday, I listed my 20. I had a really hard day Wednesday. I still managed to get it done. Thursday, it was like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock that evening before I ever touched my computer, and I got my 20. And Friday, I didn't think I was going to, but it was like 10 o'clock at night. I got my 20. So I got my 20 all week until I ran out of pictures. Me and Tanya usually take like a ton of pictures, put the stuff up, and then I list it. So I've got 9 that I'm going to list today, and I'm out. That's it. That's all I got. So we have to pull some stuff in here, take pictures. I got to put it up, and then we can do more listing.
So you're back to doing 20 instead of the 500 a day?
Well, I was doing 20 a day. The first day I hit almost $400. And here's the reason, right? Okay. It's not an excuse. I'm not trying to make excuses. But what I had to list, there wasn't a lot of money in it. I listed 400 the first day, 4 something the second day, and a little over 500 the third day. The fourth day was like 300 and something. But that's what I had. I didn't really have a lot to choose from, to cherry pick, to put big numbers up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think to do that, and I know listen to Grounds and Pops, and they may approach it differently. I think they probably pull the items, maybe don't do a huge thing of pictures at one time. But I think probably the way that you do that, if you wanted to do the 500, you probably need to do 2 banks of pictures, like a bank of your higher value items and then a bank of your other items, so that you can still do a blend, but also be able to pull enough high value into the 20 items to make sure you hit your monetary goal as well as your quantity goal.
Absolutely. No denying that. And I do generally, I ain't going to say we're great pickers or anything like that, but we're good enough pickers. Even when we pull a tote in and go through it, there's usually almost always a couple of really good scores in every tote.
Yeah.
So you might have a $500 item, a $300 item, and have several of them, and then have some bread and butter. And it's a good mix. So, because I don't really take time to organize my death pile. I mean, it's organized, but it's neat, but it's not like I separate electronics and plush and, it goes in a tote. That's what happens to it. It just goes into a tote.
I think on the 500, that's where the rethinking of the quantity maybe, because you'd have to look at it as, okay, if I've got a $300 item, a $50 item, and then I might not have to list but 5 other things that day to get to 500, but you go ahead and finish doing your 20 ready. Right. So you got the others ready. So on a day where 20 only gets you to 350, you've got other items you can release that day with them to still get your 500 out. If you're going to do monetary versus quantity, I think both have their, can be, argued for, as far as being a good approach. But definitely the more money, the more value we have listed, the more value we can sell. You can sell a whole bunch of items for $2 and still not make a lot of money.
Oh, I know that. If you watch my video this week, you will see that I think it's 4 or 3 or 4 out of the 8 items that I sold was CDs. And the reason for that is, guess what I had ready to get listed? It was mostly CDs. There was some media, some VHS media. Then there was a few other decent things, but it was mostly CDs. So I blew through that as quick as I could to get done because I didn't enjoy it. I got it done.
Yeah.
I got it finished. And then I sold 4 CD sets this weekend. You know, so there's definitely something too. You're going to get a bump in what category you focus on. That's a very real thing. But so I didn't sell a lot of money, but I sold a lot of CDs, and I'm happy to get rid of them. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll get rid of them because I'm not selling Frankie Jones and the silver sliders for $7,000 like Josh. You know, I'm not smoking it in CDs like that.
I mean, it is what it is. It's not the same every week, I'll be honest, but it's amazing. I've got back to listing on those because I told you that the last time, I had really dug in and I was doing really well. Like, felt like I was really in that mindset because I listed for a while when I first got them. I did all the DVDs, all the box sets, and then sorted. I spent hours just trying to sort the CDs so that I felt like, because I wanted to be able to group them as best as possible. And there were so many collections like of the same artist. And I knew for some of those, I was going to do really well to try to group those together because it was like CD copies of the original albums. Like I told you, like that set of the Bee Gees that I sold for like $180. And it was like, 18 albums. And so, yeah, there's some of them might have been worth $20, but putting them all together, I was able to move them fast for a really good profit. But I knew I could do that if I took time to sort them. But man, it was just so many. It just took forever to get them all sorted out. And so I was kind of burnt out at looking at CDs. And so I boxed them all up in boxes. I used, spacers with the letters on them. So I put them in alphabetical. I had them sorted by artist and alphabetized. And then I stacked them up and I left them alone for a while. And I listed other stuff because I was just burnt out on them. But I got started. I listed a whole bunch. I listed like A, B, and C or something like that. All the A's, B's, and C's. And then the same thing, I kind of moved on some other stuff. Well, when I got back this last time, I thought I'm going to power through all of this, like you said. And then it started wanting to charge me for an insertion fee because I had listed so many music items. And even though I wasn't over my total allotment, I was over my allotment for that category. So I said, forget that. I'm not giving you extra money to list something I can list for free in a month. I'll just put it off for a while.
Yeah. So, and I don't blame you for that at all.
What I done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hit a segment because Mary is prepped and ready.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to hear Mary's stuff. Honestly,
I am too. We're talking too much. That's what I'm saying. We're talking too much. We got to get. I want to hear some of Mary. I'm excited about Mary's dad joke. We're going to wait on that one for a few minutes. Let's do a little This Week in Wrestling History. She's got something for us today, so I'm excited. So let's do that. You ready?
It's gonna be hard to beat Fish, though. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I've thought about that always.
Don't know if Rachel's gonna watch this one or not.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
All right, Mary, you are our guest. You go first.
Okay. So I did July 18th, since that's when this is going to drop. Okay. Now, mind you, I don't know a lot about wrestling. That's one sport I haven't followed that much. I was big into NASCAR. I watched football, but so July 18th, Vern Gagne won his 10th and final AWA World Heavyweight Championship against Nick Bockwinkel in Chicago, Illinois. And I did not write the year. What a ding dong.
Oh, you're good.
Vern Gagne.
I did not write the year, but that was July 18th.
That's awesome.
Have you heard of those guys?
Oh yeah. Okay. Vern Gagne, Nick Bockwinkel. Yeah, that's definitely going to be probably no later than 70s, I would say, wouldn't you, Josh?
Yeah, no later than that, I don't think.
Maybe
AWA as well.
They might have crept into the early 80s, but I don't think so. Maybe. All right, Josh, what you got?
I went with 1994 WCW, their first Bash at the Beach. Maybe I didn't steal yours this time.
Oh, you did not.
But that was the WCW in-ring debut for Hulk Hogan. And his in-ring debut just happened to be the first ever match between him and Ric Flair. And, Hogan, of course, was this quintessential superstar of WWF, or what we know as WWE now, the biggest star that had probably ever come along as far as notoriety, name recognition, all that. I mean, he crossed over just like The Rock and some of these others have in our modern times, But anyway, so he had left WWE and moved over to WCW. And then you had Flair, who had not, as far as I know, had not been a part of the WWF yet. And so he was like probably the biggest name overall in wrestling, honestly, other than Hogan, up to that time, especially within the actual, the true, wrestling, like the community. And so you had that first big match between them. Hogan won. He won the WCW heavyweight title at that event. That's, again, Bash at the Beach, the first one in 1994. And in his corner, of course, in Hogan's corner, he had a couple of big names as well. He had Mr. T and Shaq, when Shaq was still with Orlando Magic. So that's just a baby Shaq back then.
I remember all that. Now I have to correct you on one thing you said.
Was it one I said I wasn't sure about? Because
maybe you said you didn't think Flair had been with WWE yet.
Yeah,
he had.
Had he? Okay.
Yeah, he was there during, I think it was 90, 91, 92 era.
Okay.
Right then, because there was a big thing that went down with him. He showed up on, it was like one of their talk show type things with Bobby Heenan, and he was carrying the big gold belt, the WCW, which at the time I believe would have still been the NWA world title at that time. I'm not 100% sure.
That. No, I knew that. I just forgot the date because we talked about that already.
Yeah, because he won the WWF world title in the Royal Rumble 92, I believe it was.
Yep. And that was because that with the belt, that was the whole dispute, right? About over the pay issue or something like that at the time.
Yeah. He basically walked out with it, showed up with it. And his argument was, I had this belt made, it's mine. So they really couldn't do a whole lot about it, but it looked really bad for them. Like and that wasn't even my wrestling thing this week. Right. So that's free. That was
he was definitely, at least at this point in 1994, probably other than Hogan, if it wasn't someone in the WWE, there probably wasn't a bigger name than Ric Flair besides, Hogan and maybe a few others that were in WWF at the time that were kind of on par with that level. But he was definitely probably the biggest name in WCW before Hogan walked in.
Yeah. And that event was actually one of the tide turning events for WCW. I remember that very well because when Hogan signed, because Hogan was getting kind of turned on a little bit. People were getting tired of his, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, all that stuff. They were getting tired of his super good guy because he'd been doing it for, 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And they were starting to boo him a little bit. So he departed at King of the Ring. 1993 was his last WWF event at the time. And he showed up in 94 at Bash at the Beach. And I remember watching a documentary. He told Vince McMahon he would probably never wrestle again. He was probably done. I'm not going to go back and wrestle. But WCW threw the everything plus the kitchen sink at him. And he was like, how can I not sign this contract? But the reason it was so tide turning, because like right after that happened, here comes Randy Savage right in behind him. And if you go back and you look at the history back there, Vince McMahon had put Randy Savage on commentary because he wasn't a young wrestler anymore. He's like, at the time, he's like 38 or 40 years old. And McMahon tells him, you're a little bit too old, blah, 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 blah. And Savage is like, I can still do it. I can still wrestle. So he goes too. Then you've got the two biggest names that WWE had at the time gone. Yeah. So it was pretty big, pretty tide turning type stuff. Yeah, I could talk about this all day. And I haven't that's not even mine.
We need to start a podcast just for wrestling talk.
We would never get done talking.
But we would have a big audience, I believe.
I do think, I'm not going to say I'm always right, especially when it hits around 2004 till now. You could probably take it. Anybody could take me. But from, I don't know, from probably the mid 80s, definitely from 90 to 2005, I've got you. I think I've got you. And I mean, I know I forget stuff because you'll see these little reels on Facebook and Instagram. Like, you remember this guy was here, was doing that. And I'm like, no, I don't remember that, like, but I was a super wrestling nerd. Like, that's definitely for sure. All right. So mine was 2002. I chose this one because this is one of those moments that you're like, this will never happen. Like, this is just not gonna occur. So it's 2002 in New Jersey. WCW president Eric Bischoff made his WWE debut when he was announced as the brand's first general manager by Vince McMahon. That moment right there was different because of what happened. He walks out, Vince is out there. Here is the two guys that was the figureheads of the Monday Night Wars. Like, Bischoff and McMahon was the two boss guys, if you want to call them that. And Bischoff's even saying on the air, like, come on down here, Vince, we'll have a match. Like, he's inviting him to WCW for a wrestling match or a fight or whatever you want to call it. And now he walks out on his show and they embrace, they hug. It's like, no. It's like the devil has a brother and now they're hugging. Like, it's totally not. Like, who do you cheer for in this instance? Like, I ain't cheering for Bischoff and I'm not cheering for McMahon. It is just one of them moments, like, unreal, just totally unreal. But yeah, that was some crazy times, man. When WCW went under, it was quite wild.
Yep.
All right. Well, that wasn't too bad. Not, if you're still with us after that, we appreciate you. You're faithful to this show.
It mostly drops off after about 25 minutes. So.
Oh, that's pretty generous. That's pretty generous. So I want to show you what Logan got me and tell you the story. I was in Walmart, I don't know, a week and a half ago, something like that. And I found this Ghostbusters car. I'll turn it around where it looks a little better. I found this, and it's a Bluetooth speaker car, right? So Logan got this for me the other night, and I looked at it, and I'm like, I'm going to buy this for myself. Then I put it down, and I picked it up about 4 times, and I kept putting it down like, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm the world's worst to buy for myself. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I can. I'm not talking just like, if I buy a bag of chips or a drink or something, but something like an item that I want, I don't know. I just can't hardly do it. So Logan comes strolling in. I want to say it was Saturday night, maybe. And he said, I told you I was going to get you something for your birthday, and I never did. He said, here you go. And he handed me that. And I'm like, there's no way. There is absolutely no way. He found it, and he seen it, and he was like, this is what you need. Well, it's what I looked at and struggled in my mind. Like, I do want it, but I don't need it. But I want it, but I don't need it. And I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when he showed up, I was like, well, now I got it. And that was done.
Aww.
But yeah, I was it was so cool. And I'll give y'all one guess. That's the Ecto 1, right? Ecto 1, Ghostbusters car. Can either of you guess what the very first song I played on this was?
Oh, I'm sure it was Ghostbusters.
It was Ghostbusters all day.
That's what I would have guessed.
I played it like 3 times. That's the only thing that's been played on it so far is the Ghostbusters theme song. Oh. But yep, that is actually going to be whenever I get the guest house finished, totally finished, and it's all set up. This is going to be my first official item, toy, decoration that gets put in there. So I'm going to put it, I don't know where, because of course I ain't got it laid out yet, but that'll be the first item that goes in. And I'm going to use it too, because that thing's too cool not to use.
Heck yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
I love it. Love it. All right, Mary, do you have a sale of the week?
I didn't write one down. I started looking for one, and apparently I saw a squirrel, and I never got it written down. I'm sorry. So I failed. I failed there.
That's okay. Well, we didn't really tell you to find one, so you surprised me with all this other stuff. You have this wrestling and dad jokes. I thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did look for one because I was going to write it down, and then I don't know what happened. I did sell a pretty cool bundle on Poshmark over the weekend. So I love the bundles,
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, I sold I think it was 7 items to one person.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
yeah, so that was really nice. So
I love it when it happens like that. That makes it so much easier.
Mm-hmm. And on eBay, you have to actually they don't have the bundles per se, right? I mean, do you just invoice them all together once you combine the shipping? I haven't been on eBay for like 3 or 4 years. So
I don't do invoices. I don't know about other people, but now if you have one buyer buy multiple items from you, yes, you can combine it into one shipment as long as it's something you can fit into one package. Absolutely.
Okay.
You can also, like a lot of us, probably like you do. I mean, I list in lots quite often as well. Put together, bundles of similar items, just like on the CDs. I'll do that on clothing as well. Like if I pick up, three pair of pants of a particular brand that they were obviously donated by the same person. They're the same size. They measure the same in 3 different colors, like a chino or something. Then sometimes if they're not super high value individually, sometimes I'll just list those together. If they sell pretty good, but they sell at like $14 to $18, I'll put them all together and then try to get like, $35 or $40 for them collectively. And sometimes I'll make that sell and get a little more for those if it's bread and butter than I do if I sell them individually, because they're paying one shipping price on the 3 items and they're kind of supplying their need. If they have to go 3 different places, they probably spend $10 more because of all the extra shipping that they would pay otherwise. So anyway. But yeah, we do it that way. There's ways to make that happen, whether it's on the sell end or, like you said, if the buyer buys multiple items from you, you can do that as well.
Oh, okay. On a Mercari and Poshmark, they can literally just put items from the same seller in their cart and then either buy it outright, or send the buyer an offer. Like the person on Poshmark sent me an offer, but on Mercari, I sent a bundle yesterday and she just put both items in her cart and she just bought it outright. She didn't ask for a discount or anything. But then, then Mercari sent me the prepaid label, and Poshmark sent me the so I guess I can tell you guys I did have a buy of the weekend.
Oh,
can I use that instead of say?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to piggyback off Rachel from last week here. So I have been saving for a car, and and I knew my car was on its way out, but it's like I'm gonna go as long as I can. I'm gonna well, Saturday it decided it was done. It's not starting. It's not. It's the transmission. So but I was able to pay cash for a brand new car.
That's amazing.
I wanted to piggyback off her because I had been saving for it. So I wasn't expecting to do that till after the meetup. My son and I had actually already rented a car for the meetup.
Oh wow.
But I think we just won't need to rent one now.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. So that was the first time I had ever, because my last car I did payments on. That was in 2014. It was a 1-year-old car. So I had that car for 10 years. But this is the first one that I paid cash for. So I got a 2024 Honda Accord. So, okay. So I use that. That's my buy of the week.
That works. That's good. That's good stuff.
That's such a good feeling.
Share the bundles, huh?
And that's such a good feeling to be able to walk in and lay the money down and walk out totally free, not having to owe nothing else for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean and we're going to revisit this in just a minute.
Oh yeah.
Because you're going to tell us about your journey to debt freedom. So we'll come back to that in just a minute.
Oh, okay.
What's your sale of the week, Caleb? Was it the one about the silverware you've already spoiled, or?
No. I'll use that one next week. Thank you.
Okay. Let's hope you don't need that one for next week.
Yeah, hopefully. No, we had this lamp. It was a Disney Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, one of the touch lamps with the glass shades around the top.
Yeah.
It was really cool, like really, really cool. I sold it on sale for like $98, $99 or $90. I've done forgot. I believe it was like $98. And of course, I had to really, really pack that thing good because those are extremely fragile.
Yeah.
But got it packed up to where it would basically bounce like a basketball. And where it, they're going to have to run over it with a forklift pretty much to destroy it. If they drop it off of a 10-foot conveyor, it's probably going to bounce back up on the conveyor. It's packed so good. But that's what we sold this week. And I had it for a while, but I love stuff like that. It was just, I'm not a big Disney guy, but I will buy stuff just because I can appreciate its value. But that one was really neat. Like it was a white lamp with I think it had the white trims, but then the glass was white frosted with the characters on the glass. Mm-hmm. It was really cool. So that's like my sell of the week.
All right, I had a model airplane engine, so like the RC planes. It was the Magnum Pro 465E with the muffler. I've had it for a while. I purchased it at a thrift store, and I know it was less than $10. I think it was $7 I gave for it. And I had it priced up because it's one of those things. There's not a lot. There's a lot of engines listed, but they're so specific, like every model of engine. And there were sold comps that suggested it should sell north of $100. And I've left it there for a while. I've sent out every now and then. It's one of those, it's a unique item. So every now and then I get the right person coming along, I guess, looking for a replacement engine for their exact model that they use. And anyway, I finally had someone else send an offer the other day, and they offered $80 for it. And so I went ahead and took it. Nice. It's been listed for like 110 to 120 most of the time. I'd gotten it down close to 100. And so I thought, well, I've had it long enough. I only paid $7. I'm just going to get rid of it and use the money for something else. So but awesome. Still was glad to make the sale. Pretty good sale.
That's awesome. That's a good one. I like stuff like that too.
Unique items too. I love interesting stuff.
I do too. I love finding stuff that nobody else has, really. Like not necessarily nobody has it, but there's not going to be too many of them out there.
Well, and if you had 1,000 items like that in your store, you would sell items frequently enough that you'd make a good profit on eBay. But the problem is most of our stuff is like we call bread and butter. It's just commons. And then you have, this handful of unique items that usually doesn't stay around as long as that does. I was actually surprised it hadn't sold. Usually when you find that stuff, it doesn't last, maybe a month at most or 2 months, and it's out the door. If anything, it hangs around because you're trying to squeeze that extra little bit, not knowing for sure how to price it. You don't want to. What I hate is when I get something like that, I decide on a price, I list it, and it's gone within like 5 minutes. I'm like, wow, I really messed up on that one. Like, I'm still glad to make the sale because I usually make a good profit, but it's like, there's no way that I priced that right. It would not have sold that fast. So,
I've
just have alerts. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, yeah. And then when they saw the price, they about broke their arm trying to click buy it now.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that plenty.
I've been afraid sometimes to go back and look to see if it got reposted by another, eBayer for like twice the money or something.
I think that really does happen though. Sometimes.
Oh, I know it does.
Yeah,
I'm sure it does.
Okay, well, let's hit our comment of the week, and I'll go first on this one because
go ahead.
I wanted to use a commenter that is very, very loyal to the show. Every episode, she's commenting on every single video, every single time, and I'm going to get her name right. It's Mary McQuain. But I love your comments. They're always so encouraging, so uplifting. It's like you can count on Mary to have a very good comment. And you said, "Hi guys and Rachel, what a great discussion. I love all your views on debt and faith. Rachel, that's so awesome. You were able to find a way to pay cash for your car. The same thing you just did."
Yeah.
He said, "I haven't bought one since being debt free, but in the middle of saving for one now. you're right. Once you're out of debt, don't want to get back into it. And I'm going to set a list and goal around the day gig like you did. You go, girl, liked and shared. Thanks all. P.S. Thanks for the shout out. And you're welcome. And we just love your comments because you're like one of our best.
Oh,
and I don't say that lightly. We love all of our viewers, but I mean, some of them will comment here and there, and we don't know if they're watching. We don't know who's watching, but we know Mary McQuain. Mary is watching every single episode or listening.
Right.
And we really appreciate that.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Josh, hit it.
Okay. I'm going to go with, I want to mention one person that I don't think we've seen in the comments much. And then I'm going to read my comment. It's Angie's Oddities, I think is her screen name. So she's got a channel. Check her out. She did leave comments this week. We always like to acknowledge newer people that we see in the comments. And then we had another one. I just thought this was kind of funny. The screen name April Michelle 6237. She said, "I think I'm addicted to cheese, but don't worry, it's nacho cheese."
She stole my joke and she changed
that was in response to Caleb.
She stole my joke.
But anyway, we appreciate everyone that goes on and comments, and we had a lot of really good feedback last week from some of our, like I said, not just Mary, but some of our other viewers that always watch, and we appreciate you guys.
Angie's the one that invited me up to Wisconsin, said she'd buy me some cheese curds. I'm fixing to plan a vacation to Wisconsin. I'm telling you, like I am a cheese nut, man. We went to this restaurant we found here locally, and it's really, you drive up to it and you think it's one of them really sketchy looking outfits. Like, this is not going to be good.
Yeah.
On the outside, it looks kind of run down, kind of overgrown. Just a hole in the wall, like definition of the hole in the wall. But you walk inside and it's really nice, and their food is outstanding. It's so good. And it's called the Long Road Cafe. So it's on Highway 70. It's a little bit out of our way now. It used to be closer to where we live, but now it's on the other side of town. But they bring you this homemade pimento cheese. Now, when I heard that, I was like, I don't know. I'm not huge on pimento cheese. I'll eat it, but it's not my favorite thing. So when I heard homemade pimento cheese, I'm like, we'll see. No, I thought my tongue was going to beat my brain to death. It was so good. It was unbelievable. So this last time we went, we took my nephew. He didn't care for it. He's right over here in the room. He didn't care for it as much as we did, but we asked her, because they bring you like one of the, the small little tubs of it with a few crackers. And we're like, do you sell this in the bigger bowl? Can we buy a bigger bowl? Like, and get some extra crackers? Oh yeah. And a bowl that I'm saying is probably like, I don't know, 10 or 12 ounce bowl, decent sized bowl was $5.50. And I'm like, man, I'm going to come in here like every week and buy pimento cheese. But it was good. I love cheese. Now this can be the cheesiest podcast on YouTube.
No, it would never be the cheesiest, because you can't beat Ken and his mac and cheese.
That's true. Ken is the cheesiest.
You're not going to beat Ken.
That's true. That is true. All right. So now I think it's time. I do believe it's time for us to get into a dad joke battle. And after I defeat Josh for the 20th time or something, we are going to let Mary tell her story about debt freedom. So let's get into this dad joke battle. See, he thinks he's still the champion, if you guys didn't know that. And actually, that kind of looks like you're saying that I think I'm still the champion. I probably shouldn't have said that under your name. Thinks he's still the champion. Yeah, that was a mistake. Anyway, here we go.
I decided to be quiet.
Yeah, Josh is going to revoke my abilities to change stuff after this week.
I don't have any control over it.
Oh, I thought, didn't I give you access to all that stuff?
Oh, no, but I can't stop you from doing what you're doing over there. I can't take it away from you, I don't guess.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe I could, because if I'm also I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
No, you really don't have to. It's okay. All right, dad joke time. I have no idea who won last week. I think Glenn was the only one that said you won, so his vote never counts. His vote does not count anymore ever again. Yeah, but he don't count because he's so partial. He's always going to say Josh, unless it's like such a bad joke that he don't say. He's never going to say I won. That's obvious.
Well, he's not if you don't win. You're going to have to make it obvious.
Okay. Yeah, that's not fair. That's just not fair. Definitely not fair.
Oh, man.
So, okay. So a horse, this is so bad. A horse walks into a diner and the host says, "Hey," the horse says, "You read my mind."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm back to the bad jokes.
It's okay.
I'm not going to pretend I'm a good joke teller anymore. I'm just going to start going bad again.
Well, this one's a little bit on the dark side, but did you hear about the new Disney movie? It's going to star Bambi, Simba, and Dumbo. They go to the same high school and take the same English class. You'll never guess what the movie's called.
I have no idea.
Dead Parents Society.
Oh, come on. That's not even right. That is not even right. Man, Simba, when Mufasa died, that almost made me cry.
Oh, man. Trust me. It ain't like that, I guarantee you. That was probably my favorite movie when I was a kid. I mean, I remember when that one came out. It was right there, in the 90s. I mean, early 90s, when I was kind of in that perfect age, I think, where I could really understand it, like you said, in that part. Like, I remember watching Bambi when I was real little, and I don't think I really understood it,
I don't
we had those big reel-to-reel machines, that they could rent for the school, and they would have it come in and had the sound. We sat down in the library, and they played that one. I remember watching it. We watched that, and I think Fox and the Hound that way when I was real little. But
I love Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorites too. But now, Lion King, there was something special about that one for me. I loved Lion King.
I could recite. I watched it so many times. I'd be watching it, and I could sit there and mouth the words that Scar, Mufasa, and all of them was about to say. I knew it word for word.
Wow.
So yeah, that hurt my heart when you said that.
Well,
it's a
play. It's a playoff of, right? Y'all know the movie. I'm sure y'all do. Everyone should know that. It's not. Yeah. So.
Yeah, all right. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I've heard of it. All right, Mary, go ahead.
What you got?
Okay. 2 windmills were sitting on a hill. One asks the other, "Do you have a favorite song?" The other replies, "Well, all my life I've been a heavy metal fan."
That's actually pretty good.
I like it.
I think she just beat both of us, maybe.
It's very likely. Sometimes I think people don't appreciate the little bit of dark in some of the jokes, both for you and me.
Yeah,
so you start looking for dad jokes. It's hard to find something unique. I mean, it really is. They're like they're a dime a dozen. You feel like you've heard them all 10 times at some point. So,
well, when you've done, this, I've done this 60 times now, so it's like getting harder to find them. Yeah. I'm having to really Google hard.
I'm feeling you. So before you get too critical, just imagine having to do this week after week and find something that's worth telling.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. All right. So I want Mary to take a little time here. And Mary, I'm not going to spoil this too much, but you have a very special experience that I kind of wish me and Tanya would have done, but we're so backwards. Like, I know everybody's going to say, "Oh, you're not backwards. You're on a podcast. Come talk to me in person. You'll see I'm a little bit more backwards than you think." But you got to do this, and I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let you tell it. But go ahead and tell us your story.
Oh, okay. Well, I back in 2015, I was basically just drowning in debt. I was working. I've always worked, but everything coming in was going back out. And before that, for probably about 5 years, I got really involved in the local music scene, which is part of the reason that I use that joke. And I was putting together concerts, and actually all the concerts I put together either benefited the military or like my son is a Marine Corps veteran. So I think I started doing that when he was gone. And then it was also, I did them for pet rescue also. And so I was spending, I was working my job that paid me, but I was spending a lot of time doing these fundraisers, and I loved it. But meanwhile, I was just drowning. And one day I looked up and it was in January 2015, and I was $49,075 in debt. And it's like, well, no wonder I don't have any money. I mean, everything is going out. And I had followed Dave Ramsey for years, but I wasn't even Dave-ish. I mean, I was using credit cards. I wasn't, I was doing everything I wasn't supposed to do. And I was just finally sick of it. So I was, I have the same job that I have now, but I was walking dogs on my lunch break. I had already started selling stuff that I had, but then I eventually started reselling, and I sold things of my own that I never, ever expected that I would sell. Because once you start reselling, well, actually, I was doing that before I started reselling, but I find even throughout reselling, it's easier to let go of even more things. Like since I've started reselling, I've even let go of more things. But I'm a representative for a direct sales company. Now I started doing that in the late 80s or early 90s when they don't have this, some of them have the schism that they do now, but it's like, I still have my website, so I was making a little bit of money off of that, and just doing anything I could, but especially, and I wasn't in my 20s doing this. I'm walking dogs on my lunch break in thunderstorms and but it was real money coming in,
Right.
And so 5 years to the day in 2020, this is just before everything shut down in January 2020, I made my last payment. And
wow.
Yeah. And so I that was very exciting. And then a couple months later, everything shut down. And I was very fortunate that I didn't let go. I mean, I didn't get let go from my job during that time. So I was very fortunate, but it was still in that scary time. It was nice to know that I didn't have a payment in the world other than, you have your rent and your electric and all that stuff. But
no doubt.
So I went ahead and scheduled a debt-free scream on Dave Ramsey. And so I was probably one of the first people that went back in there after they opened back up. And it was in July. It was July 2nd, 2020 that I did my debt-free scream in his studio. So, and I got on the stage and I got all mic'd up, and I have major stage fright. I mean, don't even. And I almost tore everything off me and ran out the door. It's like, I cannot do this. No. But I figured that'd be a real bad look if I ran out the door. So I did it, and it was fine, and I survived. So, but I just want to encourage people. Anybody can do this. You have to have a plan together. You have to stop using the credit cards. You have to get rid of the credit cards, and you have to have a plan, and you have to be willing to make some sacrifices for sure. But I guess I don't know what else I can really say about that. But I do all the cashback apps, and I mean, I've picked up some of those along the way. Just anything I could do just to earn a little bit of money, because once you, it's worth it once you have that freedom. You definitely do not want to go back, and that's why when my car died on Saturday, it's like, well, I got what I got,
Right.
I was able to get what I wanted, luckily, which I was really surprised about, but I was able to get what I wanted. So that was kind of nice. But this was kind of cool though. Now that I am able to save money for retirement, I have a financial advisor, which if you would have told me 10 years ago, I'd have had like, no, yeah, whatever. I mean, I would have laughed at you, but he was looking on Dave Ramsey's website one day, and since I got him through the website, I was actually on Dave Ramsey's website for like a year. My picture was on there.
That is awesome.
Nice.
It's like, that's not even a thing you think about for your bucket list. Oh, I want to be on Dave Ramsey's website one day. It's like, that's not even on my radar. And he emailed me and he's like, you were on I was under, shoot, I can't remember what the portion of the website's called, but it's the portion where you find financial advisors.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, my picture was on there for about a year, and I just thought that was so cool.
That is cool. That's very cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. And you know what Dave would say? I can just hear Dave talking because I don't listen to him as much as I used to, but I can just hear him saying, "That's a big hairy deal right there." That's a big hairy deal. Yeah. And I mean, what I love and hate both about Dave Ramsey is he's brutally honest. He gives you the opinion that you need to hear, not what you want to hear, because some of us need to hear that we've been very foolish with our money. I needed to hear that because I'm the free spirit in my home. So my thing is, well, let's just go ahead and buy what, you rationalize everything. And I have learned a lot. Tanya is very much the conservative, the saver, the very careful and cautious. And she says, let's think about it. And I'm like, I know what I want to do. Let's just do it, but she's more, let's wait and see. And I do have to admit the wait and see approach probably 8 out of 10 times is the right way to go, because you, just as Dave says, you make an impulse buy, you purchase with your emotions instead of with your brain, you don't think it through. And until we bought this house, which, we are going to be in debt some on our mortgage. That'll still be our only debt. But because we're having to sell the other house, and then we're going to take that, the equity that was in the other house, pay it towards this house, we will have a little bit of debt. And I've got a very aggressive goal of 3 to 4 years to get this house completely paid off. Now, listen, that I realize that is extremely aggressive, and I may fall flat on my face. But if you don't set yourself some pretty high goals, it's kind of like I heard an old proverb. A guy said, if you're aiming at nothing, you'll hit it every time. And it's true. You better have some specific goals, whether it be in reselling, in finance, in life in general. You need goals. We all need something to aim for and something to strive towards to get us there. And that motivates, like my motivation is I have been totally debt free, no house, no car, no nothing. I know how that feels. I know the freedom it brings when you don't have to give away everything you just worked really hard for every month. It's liberating. So I know how that feels, and I want it back as quickly as possible. Now, we're debt free outside of that, and that's great. And I don't plan on going back into debt for a car or, Lord willing, nothing. I say that because if my kid ended up sick or something like that, and you had to take them get an emergency surgery, that's fine. I'll go into debt for that. That's not a big deal. But things out of our control, I think even Dave would say, hey, your family, you got to take care of your family. But just because I want a new toy, that's not really a great reason to go into debt. And I'm sure there's going to be people that say, hey, credit cards are good, to each their own. But for me, a credit card is a great big temptation. I don't even really use mine. I know a lot of people do. Like they'll buy their gas, and that's fine. I'm not judging anybody, but they'll buy this, that, and the other on their credit card to help build their credit and to help because they get some cash back. And I understand that's fine. I ain't talking down. I just don't do it because I don't have the restraint. I don't have the restraint to say, well, yeah, I got a credit card with $10,000. I could just go buy what I need and pay it off at the end of the month. Yeah, when the end of the month rolls around, you may or may not. It just
I think there's rules, to how, even with the credit cards, that I do use one, But it's like with any other financial, decision, you've got to have ground rules for how you use something. And it's just like, what you said about finding ways to, with the different cashback apps and stuff like that. To me, if you do set parameters for how even like a credit card is used, then you can only spend what you normally spend and make it pay you to use their money. Instead of, we normally see when we do stay, I mean, I know y'all know that, but like when we stay indebted, we're paying someone else to use their money. We're paying them every month to use money that we didn't have.
Yeah.
But if we keep our account healthy and we don't overspend based on what we have earning, and we use the credit card only as a means to use someone else's money, right, temporarily, and always pay it off and never pay interest at the end of every month, and then they're going to give us rewards and points and cash back and value that we can go and spend. I mean, we earn hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, I guess a few $1,000s a year on Amazon using our Amazon card. So most of everything we order off Amazon, and we use more than one card, we don't use them for anything other than like gas and groceries and things like that.
Yeah.
But we have different ones we use for different things. We have a regular credit card like the department store Belk. We don't buy a lot of new clothes anymore, and we don't use that, but just for a few things. So we don't build up a lot on it. But we'll have like their little cash coupons. We'll earn maybe like $20 or $30 a month. And so like every couple of months we can go in, we'll have 30 or 40. We went and bought new pillows for our bed. We spent like $5 out of pocket, because we had enough cash coupons. We paid it off. Belk bought our pillows for us. They basically gave us our pillows. So instead of having to spend $50 out of our earned money, we spent $5 of our earned money to get really nice pillows that were also, by the way, 50% off that day. So, we got like higher dollar pillows than we would ever have bought, not only because they were 50% off, but because we were using money that we had earned, not money that we had made, that we had to work for. And so I think there's an argument, like you said that, Caleb, there are arguments to be made on both sides. I think if you're not going to show restraint, it's absolutely, I mean, it's probably the number one thing that kills people financially is running up credit card debt that they can't pay, because the very first day that you decide, well, this month was hard, I'm just going to make my minimum payments, you've stepped into the hole that's hard to get out of. Yeah. You can't do that. I would never recommend starting day one using the credit, but once you're established in your financial, you got your feet entrenched in your system, you know how to operate, you know what you make, and you understand how to live not just within your means, but I think below your means, because the only way you're ever going to save, the only way you're ever going to build wealth, and it's not about being rich, but like you said, just having money for retirement. Like right now, my mom, it's hard because my mom has almost, my dad tried to save a little bit, before he passed, but my mom don't have a big bank account. She gets $1,100 a month from the government, and newsflash, that don't pay for any kind of long-term care plan, nor does that pay for anyone to really come in and help much. That don't cover very many hours of assistance just for respite care, so you can go and take care of business. So we're fast moving to a point where we're going to have to be able to take on, our time's going to be worth more than our money, because we're not going to be able to afford someone, right, as much as to pay, like what our time's going to be more valuable than that, which is why, like the decisions I made. But something else you said, and I know this is a very cliche thing that we probably heard since elementary school, but I know it's always associated with Ben Franklin, but it's just no proverb, that a penny saved is a penny earned. And I know from watching kids in school when I was teaching that they'll literally take their change from break and they'll say, they're spending mom and daddy's money.
Yeah.
And we used to sell it off of a table to make it more efficient instead of using machines. And so they'd come down through the line and they would have their snacks and drink and stuff, and they would give you $5, and they're supposed to get back 75 cents. They say, keep the change. I'd be like, we're not keeping your change. The school doesn't need your change. You put that change back in your pocket because your mom and dad expect you to use that, I mean, I sometimes I talk to some of them after to explain to them. I said, after 5 days of walking through this line and telling us to keep 75 cents, you got enough money to buy your break the next day on that Monday without having to ask for more money. It don't seem like a lot. And that's so like in our financially, I know I'm talking long, I'll try to wrap it up, but in our system today, like the way it is, to say a penny saved is a penny earned, most people just completely laugh and think that's just hilarious, because a penny's not really worth much in compared to the cost of goods. But it's not the literal application of it. It's that metaphorical application that we need to focus on, because if we don't operate with that mindset to make every decision we can, not cut corners, not like illegal corners, but you know what I mean? Like you said, it's okay to not eat as fancy sometimes. It's okay to skip some meals out and just have something at home that's not real, something that's cost efficient, like we make fun of the college students living off ramen noodles, I mean, things like that. It's okay sometimes to do that a couple of nights a week and just save the money. I mean, imagine most people, they buy Starbucks every day, sometimes twice a day. They eat out at least once a day. Some people eat lunch out every day and go out to eat dinner or grab something on the way home and get it from and look, if y'all do, don't throw stones at me if you do that. But I'm just saying the amount of money that you have going out on those things versus, even though groceries are high, what it would cost to feed yourself at home is astronomical. It's amazing how much money you can save. Just small choices, small choices that make all the difference in the world. And no, we're generating wealth. People just give it away too easily.
Yeah.
They give it away too easily. Whether you make a little or make a lot, you can make it work for you, but you got to have the right mindset to do it.
There's two things you said in there that Mary will recognize, I'm sure. Momentum is important, and Dave talks about it in the form of a debt snowball. You pay one off, then you take what you was paying on that one and you apply it to the next largest one, and you just keep going. And it doesn't take long paying off a $20 bill, a $30 bill, a $50 bill till you're paying a couple $100 on that next one. Then you're paying $500 extra a month on the big one. And then you're paying $1,500 a month extra on your mortgage. Like it's a real thing. And I've already forgot what the other one was. That's how old guys work.
I was thinking I said all that and you only got two things out of it.
No, I got more than two. But I forgot what number 2 was. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Then you see progress. That's progress. He doesn't want you to pay off the highest interest first. He wants you to pay off the smallest, because then that is, like you said, the debt snowball. Because then you see progress.
And that does something to your brain.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say too.
Triggers something.
What you said about goal setting, Caleb, a minute ago, and about setting, like, I would never say don't set high goals. That's not what I mean by what I'm about to say. But I do think it's very important to be measured in all those things. It's just like with choosing which debt to tackle first. If you set the goal so high every time in everything that you try to do in life that you always fall short of the goal, pretty soon you'll quit setting goals altogether, because none of us can process constant disappointment, like letting ourselves down over and over and over because we can't achieve what we set out to achieve. And it's good to have, we need to sometimes classify goals too, whether they're long-term or short-term, so that we can be understanding with ourselves like we tend to be with everyone else. But I think it's important to stretch ourselves, right? But to stretch ourselves to a place that's still reachable, because if we don't set it reachable, the next time you can stretch yourself a little further, but you've got to make sure that it's something that is attainable. And I think that's where, like you mentioned, having a financial advisor, that's where it's important too. Sometimes whether we hire someone or we just discuss it with someone that's close to us and knows us and understands, to say, look, this is what I'm thinking of doing. Do you think this is reasonable? This is the situation, someone we trust. Do you think is this a reasonable expectation, or should I lower it? Should I raise it? Am I not asking enough of myself? Because you want to be able to feel accomplished, just like with the debt thing. If you can't feel like you've accomplished something, that's a spiral too that goes the wrong way, and it will absolutely suck the motivation out of you, suck the life out of you. And I mean, it's tough to deal with. I mean,
it is very true. Very true. Well, I think it's awesome that you got to go on the Dave Ramsey show.
Oh man,
do the debt-free scream. That is just, I ain't saying I necessarily want to, but I am kind of envious. Like, I would like to, but then at the same time, you have to talk to Dave. And what if he says, have you made any bad choices lately? No, Dave, I'm perfect. I don't do anything wrong.
When you're up there doing your debt-free scream, he's, when he's on the phone with you, it's a lot of tough love, but it's not so much like that when you're doing your debt-free scream. He's just kind of asking you questions and, and stuff like, I mean, honestly, if it weren't on video, I wouldn't remember half of it because I was just so terrified.
Yeah.
But it's in Franklin. So that was a really pretty area. That was a great location.
That's actually, Franklin is the community where we go to the yard sale twice a year. It's called Fieldstone Farms. It's in the town of Franklin, the community of Brentwood, I believe is what it's called. And Dave Ramsey actually lives probably 10 minutes from where we go to the yard sales. Pretty sure we drove up to his gate one time, and just kind of looked in. So Dave, if you're listening, I'm not stalking you, okay? And I'm sure Dave Ramsey is listening to this show right here.
Right.
You can't. Well, I think he's sold that house since then, depending on when you're talking about. But
yeah, it's been a few years.
Yeah, you can't get up there. But Brentwood, driving by there, it's like houses from the millions. I mean, I had never seen a sign that said that before.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, here's the riffraff coming through. I hope don't have me escorted out, please.
Yeah. We drove up to his gate, and I'm pretty sure we pulled up to Alan Jackson's driveway, and I'm like, yeah, we ain't going down through there because it was gated too. There's a lot of country music singers live through there, though. Brad Paisley, no, wait, I don't think it's Brad Paisley. Maybe it is. Leanne Rimes. I think Leanne Rimes was Dave's neighbor. Maybe I can't remember, but there's quite a few of the bigger, well-known named country music people that did live there. I don't know if they still do, but yeah, it's pretty good sized town and a lot of money in that town. I'll just say it like that. A lot of money.
Yeah, it's surprising. I like I'm kind of an 80s metal girl, and I know Dave Mustaine from Megadeth lived out there. I think he lived in Nashville. So you always think country music, but it's like, oh wow, there's some metal guys.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of everybody probably.
Well, I think that's overlooked, that Nashville, even though it's mostly known for country music, like as far as recording wise, studio wise, it's really made a national name for itself. Especially, I mean, it was already coming on the scene, I think, probably like you said, even you go back maybe the 80s and the 90s, but especially since 2000. I mean, there's so many different genres and musicians that operate out of those studios besides just country. Even though that might still be like kind of the heartbeat of it, it's branched out quite a bit.
Yeah, that was interesting to find out that it wasn't just country music people living out there.
Absolutely. I mean, they got some of the best, musician and production, no matter what it is. I mean, as far as studio wise, I mean, some of the best that you'll find. I mean, I know that's probably that sounds like I'm not saying much since it's Nashville. Everybody thinks that, but I mean, they really do. It's like, you don't have to go to LA to get an LA sound. They can do that in Nashville too,
Yeah,
right.
Well, awesome stuff. Well, anything else, Mary or Josh, before we head out today?
Careful.
Yeah, thanks for letting me share.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, and I enjoyed that. It's been fun hanging out. I guess I'll say this: don't forget, for those of you that are planning to come, that we do have some menu items selected. I know we still haven't talked about that, but we are going to be maybe next week. Maybe let the gate out on that. Tell them about the menu a little bit. We'll work that into the beginning of the show. So be listening for that. We'll tell you about the menu next week. And like I said earlier, we do have T-shirts, Lord willing, that are going to be with us and available at the meetup, and may put a few of those in the giveaways as well. But if you're interested, might reach out and let us know, and we'll try to put one back for you ahead of time, because we're only getting 50 assorted sizes, medium through, I think, was it 3X? We got a few 3X, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, a larger amount of extra large. But like I said, if there's a specific size and someone's interested, if you will reach out to us ahead of time and you want one, then we'll put one back for you. And that way, we'll only put out the ones we know are not spoken for. So.
Right. And you're going to get an awesome Macho Man sticker.
Yeah,
that's right.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Mary, for coming on with us. It's been a pleasure to meet you face to face over
Absolutely.
this. But in just a couple of weeks, it's going to be really face to face.
Yes.
So
and all kidding aside, seriously, I want to say this now. I know we can say it back screen, but even before we got on the recording, for all of you that have seen Mary in comments and in the live streams commenting during those times, she is absolutely nicer and sweeter than she even comes across in the messages. And that's hard. That's a big bar to be crossing. So, I mean, she's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've been great. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here again. We really appreciate you. And you're always welcome to hang out with two old guys.
All right. Thank you. That's awesome.
All right. Well, we will see you next time. hopefully see you in a couple of weeks. August 2nd at the Pickin the Plateau. One last plug. If you ain't got your ticket, get it now. And we will see you next time. This has been the Two Old Guys, and we're getting out of here. Thanks, guys. It won't let me end the recording. It says having trouble, check your internet connection. That's great. I'm going to have to edit this because we're still recording.
I don't see a button for me to do it, Caleb, or I would do it.
Really? Top right, it don't say end recording?
No, it don't.
Well, that's odd. It just says having trouble connecting. Please check your internet connection.
Usually, I thought I usually see it, but I did not. I don't see one on my.
Maybe it did disconnect, and it's just not told me. So I'm going to write down 1:35. 1 hour and 35 minutes. That way, I know if I have to edit the end off of that. Well, that's weird. It won't. It will not let me.
Huh. Yeah, there's nothing on my screen at all.
Pause. Ooh, don't hit that. Restart. Ooh, that'd be awful.
Oh God.
Cancel. No, don't hit that.